Hey guys, Dorcas here. We're doing tips and sips today. I have been sipping on this black chai tea. It is one of my favorites, so I made myself a chai latte. I'm almost done with it because I've had a couple of takes of this, but that's what I'm sipping today. We are going to talk today about copyrights, and this is a new segment, a new thing that we're going to be doing in the group. So every Thursday we'll have some tips. So we would love for you guys to let me know what you guys want to find out more about. I'll do the research. Melody and I talked about today's episode, and I wanted it to be about copyright because I think we all kind of need it. Main thing that we need to be aware of. What is a copyright? What's the purpose of copyright? The copyright laws in the United States anyways protect an artist or a creator or an author's work from being reproduced and used by other people. A lot of the information that I'm going to give you is located in the group files. So I've got my iPad here, which I've cleaned like 3 times, but it's touch, so I keep putting my fingers on it. So let's just go back. Where can you find the information in the group files about copyright? They're located in files. From there, you're going to go to the list, and it's got this one here that says glossary, free printables, mailing, beginner advice, and copyright, and etc. Click on that. Let's view that story. And that will take us into this post. And when we open that document, it's got a list of links here. So we're just going to scroll down till we get to the one that says beginner copyright right here. Bam. Oops. Wrong way. Come back. Sorry. Okay. Beginner copyright. We're going to click on that. And it's got an article by Nora Ivis, and I hope I pronounced her name right. This was published in September 19, 2018. So, just a couple of years ago. And there we go. The most important things for us to know. As of 1989, artists are not required, or it is not necessary for a creator to put copyright on it or property of or anything like that. Or the that little C with the circle which indicates copywritten. It's not required since 1989. Copyright becomes effective immediately after the work is published. And so the specific definition of published is varied. So I'm in this day of social media, if the artist took a picture and put it on any website, then that's considered a published work of art. With that being said, the duration of the copyright depends on when the work was published. In the U.S., anything published before 1923 is in the public domain. So if that piece of art that you're looking for, if that, let's say you wanted to use a picture of a cat, or a picture of an airplane, or wings, or something like that. Let's go with picture of an airplane. If you use an image that was printed yesterday, or someone hand drew something yesterday, and you make a copy of that image by, let's say Johnny Appleseed, who made it yesterday and put it on the internet, and it's a vintage image, is copywritten. However, if you use a picture of wings, schematics that were drawn by Leonardo da Vinci, guess what? Those guys are not under copyright, and you can copy them and use them as many times as you like in any piece of work that you do. So it's important for us to know that. Then anything published between 22 and 1978 is protected by by a 95 year. For 95 years after the item is published, unless that author renews a copyright. And for us that might be using newer images or things like that, if you don't have a lot of vintage things, everything published after 1977 is protected for the duration of the author or creator's life, and another 70 years after their death. So, that includes things like rubber stamps that we're using in our work. And I didn't know that. I learned that. Melody and I were having a little mentor session, and she explained that to me. So I went ahead and I did some research on it. Well, it turns out, just like any other work of art or anything similar, the rubber stamps are copywritten images and are property of the authors. So, for us, what that means is if I use a stamp created by a company that is aggressive with their copyright policies and is like, hey, that was my work that you used in those hundreds of little notebooks that you sold at the craft fair in Idaho Falls, where's my cut? I could be sued for that. However, a lot of companies have what is called an angel policy. And this is for the rubber stamps. With the angel policy, what that does is it lets you know how you can use your images. And some companies have very specific angel policies that say that you can only use that stamp image on 50 items that you are selling, or 50 times on any item for sale. So if you use it one time on 50 items, there you go. You hit it for the year. If you use it 50 times in one item, there you go. You've used it up for the year. Others have angel policies that go as far as, hey, thank you for buying our stamps. Use it on everything you want to use it on, and then sell it, and then come back and buy some more stamps from us. So you need to go in and take a look at each company's individual angel policies. You know who you bought the stamps from. If you know who that is, or if there's even if you bought it at the thrift store and there's a sticker on the wooden block, go in and type online blank company's angel policy. I am going to link a article and a list by the Spruce Crafts. Their website, they have an article they published last year in June of 2019 that has a list of companies' angel policies, and use it with a caveat. It always tells you to go ahead and research. This does not matter as much if you're only using that stamp for personal use and it is something that you're going to use and keep in your home. But if you ever plan on using these images for sale in craft fairs, if you are going to show what you're making on your YouTube channel and you ever want to monetize that YouTube channel, or if you're going to sell it on Etsy or Facebook Marketplace, anything like that, you have to be conscious of where you're getting your images. Also, in our group files, there are a series of videos on how to find copyright-free images. And this is a few videos by a YouTuber, and I found them super amazing, by Susan Taylor Brown, and she is amazing at finding copyright-free images. So if you want to do that, go ahead, watch her videos, learn where to look for them, and then use those in your projects, and have fun. Also, very important, if you are using kits, if you are using digital kits, read your particular company's digital policies. I buy a lot of kits because I absolutely love them, and I know that there are several of the people that I buy for that have specific copyright information, and they are very kind to provide it right on your receipt when you purchase something from them. One of them is My Porch Prints. I love their stuff. I've got so much of their stuff. But when I buy something from My Porch Prints, it tells me what I can and cannot do with that image, and I respect that. I mean, it is their creation. Also, as far as books and magazines and items where you can take out these images and cut them up and use them in your collage, or use book pages in your journals that you're doing for sale and all that fun stuff. There are also copyright laws that apply to that kind of scenario. And the bottom line is this. I know a lot of us have heard of this book right here. The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, by Edith Holden. We love the images in this book. It is absolutely magnificent. I purchased the original, this book, from Amazon the first time I purchased it, and I did a flip through of it, and I showed everybody my book, and I was like, it's too pretty to cut. I'm sorry, but I just can't cut into this book. It made me break out, just a thought of cutting into it. And so, a couple of the ladies that saw the post were like, hey, well then why don't you just make photocopies and use the photocopies in your journals? I can't do that, because even though this book was originally published by Edith Holden in 1906, which would put it out of copyright, this particular edition of it was copyrighted in 1977. So, I cannot actually make photocopies of this book and use it because it is under copyright, because that copyright was renewed. So I did buy a second, I bought a second copy of this book to cut up. And this was one of the ladies in the comments in the groups. She sent me a PM with a link for Half Price Books. I had never purchased anything from them or even heard of them, but I did find quite a second copy of that. I also bought from Half Price Books this Flower Fairies. So if I want to use these images in any of my books, I can. There is a caveat in there. I did some research and I couldn't get anything super clear on this. So I will give you what I found, and I will encourage you to make your own, to do your own research. When I'm looking at forums, the conversations back and forth and the answers back and forth on the question is, can I use images from books or from magazines in my collage or in my artwork that I'm going to sell? Is in the forums, people are like, yes, because you've already purchased that item and you own it and you've paid for the right to use it as you wish. So I've bought the book. And now this image, I've paid the artist their part so that I could do whatever I want with this image. So that is what other people are saying in the forums. These are not professional or law students or of any kind. Same thing with magazine images and all that. When I go into the forums for several law entities, like, a couple, I went into one for a university, and I went into one for like a bar association for one state. It is a little less hopeful. A lot of them say that if I take this image and I use it in something, I am violating that author's copyright if I take that item that I made with this image and I sell it. And then they go into, well, what if you just use a portion of that image and you use it in a collage? Or maybe you bought, the whole book is copywritten, but you only used a couple of pages out of the book. They talk about the percentage of that artist's copywritten work that was used in your art and in your reproduction. And then they also talk about how aggressive is that particular artist in in suing people for using their work in other things. So gray area. Some people think that it's okay. I have actually done it. So I'm not 100% sure, guys. I would recommend research. But it is something that I just couldn't find any clear-cut answer on that one. So I just want you to take that one with a grain of salt, because I was kind of shocked, because I was also under the impression that since I had purchased that particular magazine or that particular book, I could use it however I wanted to at that point, as long as I am not making a photocopy of it. So I can't take this and make a photocopy of it and use it, but I was under the impression that I could take this and stick it down on a piece of paper and glue it down, or add it to one of my collages. So that is all the information that I have for you today. If you guys have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to discuss next week, let me know. I am going to be recording the video way early for next week because I'm getting a new baby grandbaby, and so I'm very excited. This is the picture I got today. My daughter was in today for her checkup, and this is Victoria. And as you can see, boy, she's got a huge profile. Look at that nose and them lips. And so we get to meet her next week. Ta-da-da-da. So excited. All right, guys, have a good day. I hope you enjoyed. We're open to suggestions. Anything that you want to know about, just pop it down in the comments below so that I can come up with some stuff for you guys for next week. Bye.